eUnited will yet again be first pick. To me, this is a big thing in this set so far. Why has eUnited been so obsessed with the second pick? Because if you lose the game, you do get to pick whether or not you're first pick afterwards. And so in games 2 and now game 3, or 4 and 5, excuse me, they've elected to be second pick.
Yeah, I didn't like it going into the last game. I like it here, though, because clearly they show that they can deal with the Xbalanque a lot better. As I mentioned, they were baiting Xbal ult and re-engaging later on much, much better than they did in the first game of this series that was actually played. So I don't have a problem with it here. eUnited's still going to go Xbalanque.
As they should.
I think Spacestation should probably go Batz Achilles again.
Yep.
Maybe you don't go the Achilles potentially, but I think the control the Batz brought was really, really valuable to Spacestation.
I think if they go this Achilles again, I just want to see more ultimates. Even if it is into the overhead kick, it never did he hold it and then use it again within the cooldown. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just he walked away from a fight with it still up.
Right, yeah. It was never... So at least force something to be used, is what I'm saying. If they pick it again, I just want to see a little bit more liberal use of that cooldown. So now Aqua, the man on the screen, who certainly knows a lot about how to play the solo lane and do it pretty well. He just got to do a little bit more, I feel like this whole team does, to close this out. And they prioritize the Bellona over the Achilles and the Ratatoskr, which I love. Andy's looked great on this.
Achilles, we just kind of both assumed that it was Circuit Rat Bands. Yeah, and I think that's fair for us, but it ends up being Achilles banned away instead. So Bellona Rat, I really like these first 2 picks for Spacestation. It does make me a little bit concerned that Rat's team fight later on. These games have gone to the team fighting stage both times.
Yes.
And so Rat doesn't bring quite as much in those instances. But Andy's been playing very patiently in these team fights, really wants to be the tertiary initiator almost. Let Aqua go in, then let Jeff go in, and then Andy ends up in the fight. So Ratatoskr can still do that pretty well.
I'm surprised that they made that adjustment, though, for them to be the ones that banned away the Achilles. They must have felt a good amount of pressure from Aqua playing it, even though we didn't see quite as many executes as we would have liked. So they make that adjustment, show some respect on it.
As a player, when you win a game like that for eUnited, you kind of treat it in picks and bans like you lost, because theoretically you really should have, and so you have to make adjustments. It's not like when we were going into that last picks and bans where it's like, oh well, we won the game before this, so they have to adjust to us, we don't have to adjust to them. eUnited clearly needed to make an adjustment after that game. They can't count on Spacestation making another bad mistake and losing the game.
Well, this is great, though, for Andy. I feel like he's looked so good on this pick. And this does give them some of that early pressure that we were saying that maybe could help them. Maybe they don't end up in those 50-50 late-game situations then if they can use this Rat to kind of baton pass a nice lead elsewhere on the map for them and keep that pressure up. I think just across the board, I want to see Spacestation be a little bit more willing to go in. It just feels like they're just a little bit too tentative.
Well, now Terra Batz are great deterrents for
exactly
your aggression,
that, yes.
and Xbalanque ultimate as well. I mean, those are all deterring ultimates that you really have to respect. eUnited, again, drafting for the team fighting phase. And Andy's done that. He's been in duo lane at a minute 20 every game so far. And I'd really like to see him maybe try and switch it up. Maybe you walk over to solo lane and try and gank at a minute 20, because it's been a 2v2 over there, or a 1v2 and with Benji alone. Maybe you can catch him off guard. Maybe you catch Tingz off guard.
Right.
It just seems eUnited has clearly done their homework, as I was highlighting going into the first game that we were going to play of this set, and that they know that Andy's heading over to dual lane in the early game. Maybe with this Ratatoskr, you try and throw a wrench into it and try something different.
But again, it feels like there's so much on Spacestation's shoulders here, doesn't it?
Yes.
Like they
have all the pressure.
It feels like it's only on them, like if they lose this set. eUnited have done well already just to come back and grab 2 in a row. And now Spacestation, with essentially every advantage that could have been afforded to them, through no fault of their own, of course, they're with their backs against the wall is about to drop. If they just lose a 3-0 here today, if that is what happens, it's entirely different than the situation they're in now.
Yes.
As they pick the Freya yet again for BaRRaCCuDDa. So the team really has to group up together and find a way to pull this off.
Man, this is kind of risky to pick the Freya into the Terra. You expect that to be Terra support, though it could be flex over to Benji in the solo lane, though he's clearly been willing to play pretty aggressively in that lane with the Achilles and then the Robin as his first 2 selections. I doubt he's willing to change that up now. Terra just has such a good matchup against Freya because you just find the root pretty easily, and she's got no real recourse to it.
They're banning the op-wash too, so you're exactly right. eUnited also feel as though they got away with one, it seems, in that 4th game, and you're right, they did. So they've banned away a couple of those pieces, the Achilles and now the op-wash as well, to try and force Ven onto something else. And for what it's worth, I think Ven did look good on the op-wash, and
Definitely.
he was using those ultimates. It was very much used as sort of zoning and controlling space and make it hard for eUnited to follow up. So even though there were some times where Spacestation didn't follow up. There are plenty of times where eUnited just couldn't because of that ultimate.
It was not only the Opwash ultimate, but I think Ven's follow-up and positioning off of Andy's early game Hunbat's ult on the Kalas in particular were very, very solid. And that's where really where you need to be as the early game Opwash is just supporting your jungler and helping them out and getting those finishing blows.
Well, we're going to be a little bit deeper into those god pools, perhaps, as 5 mages have already been taken off the board. Though, mage a pretty deep pool. I mean, someone like Agni still feels real good and is certainly still out there. There's a lot of strong stuff to still be picked. Discordia still out there as well. There's still plenty of quality stuff.
Yeah, I thought Spacestation was really going to go Discordia in this spot exactly because it's one that BigManTingz has really favored throughout his time in the mid lane. And usually that when it's a lot of mid lane bans or any role bans like this, the team coming out of that second ban phase will take another one because it's a another ban, basically another god that you get to pick first. But Ven seems to really want to pick his god last. He did it last game with the Opwash, I believe. That lets him see the whole composition and understand exactly where everyone's going to be and what could ultimately be his best selection.
You think there's a chance they go like a Soul maybe and try and really go into this Fafnir, Freya, around this basic attacking type of composition and try and get some pressure there in mid?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It doesn't apply anti-heal particularly well, and that is a concern up against Terra, but Soul isn't that bad at applying anti-heal either. And you can really rely on Andy to do a lot of it with a Brawler's Beat Stick early on, though he's been kind of saving that until later on in the game thus far. We'll see if he decides to prioritize a little bit more with a Terra selection. This whole pick depends on what Benji's playing, in my mind. And what do I need to be able to get away from Benji in these team fights? But Soul is very safe, synergizes very, very well with Fafnir, applies anti-heal well enough, and could be pretty potent. I wouldn't hate that pick at all.
It's hard for me not to think that an Agni wouldn't fit in either. It does all those things that you'd want. It got the dash, to reposition, has the ultimate that's very good at applying the anti-heal. But this is another one that Tingz has also been fond of. And I'm starting to think that at a certain point we just got to admit that Tingz has just got a good god pool because he'll play just about anything you need from him. The Zhong, though, has looked particularly strong for him as well. Adds them some beefiness to this composition, a ton of area damage. This is starting to get a little bit scary as they also add in the Camazotz to go solo.
I don't love Soul anymore against Zhong. Camazotz as well. I mean, you can get into the Disapparate form, but it doesn't really help you that much.
They'll just wait it out.
Hera being hovered right now could be pretty good. I mean, Zhong's knock-up immune during the recall demons, but could have polymorphed him. The Janus instead, this is the I'm gonna need this help to get away. But this is a great pick if you get ahead early on and Andy's just all over the map and through the Cosmosing, everybody, you get guaranteed help from the Janus. You can really help out Aquarius as he dives as well. I like what Spacestation's come up with here. I think they have enough hard CC. I think they have enough damage. I think that they've got a well-rounded composition. But eUnited, again, just has a sick team fight. They've got a ton of AoE, a ton of control, and Spacestations might have a tough time with that. I think a lot of pressure's on Venenu this game. You basically just have to hit Janus snipes, and that's a really crappy position to be in as Janus. You should never draft him with the thought of, well, as long as I snipe someone, we win.
Because it could be so inconsistent,
right?
Hitting those big shots on the right targets. We'll see if they can find them, though. This is it. It's all come down to the wire. Game number 5, eUnited up against Spacestation. Tom and Toli, let's close this out.
eUnited have won 2 straight games by employing a strong front as far as a team fight is concerned. And one more time, they do the same damn thing. Batz, Zhong, Terra. It's a team fight team.
No Sylvanas for sustain, but they have the Terra instead, which arguably is better in team fights, right? Like, you got the Earth and Fury, you got the potential to swing team fights in that manner. The roots, this amount of CC is just really obnoxious to deal with, and also more AoE damage without Zeus, replacing that with the Zhong. But you got mobility to consider for Space Station Gaming with the Janus and also the global pressure Ratatoskr.
One more time, eUnited will group up and look for vision placement. They'll do just that. A ward placed by the mid lane to track the jungler's rotations, and then everybody disperses back to I can't even say normal start anymore because we see so many different applications to the early game that a normal start, traditional start, regular start, what the hell does that mean anymore? So players in their natural positions is what I'll say, so to speak.
Jeff has been consistently helping out Aqua in the solo lane with intent to try to steal the blue buff. Hasn't been working out in securing that buff, but if they can do it against a Camazotz, you got to cripple him somehow.
Well, the adaptation from eUnited has come where the speed buff gets cleared and then immediately to blue buff is where the jungler goes. JeffHindla trying to get in between that. Where the 2v1 in the dual lane is happening here. Kalis versus BaRRaCCuDDa. Vetium alongside Kalis.
And sometimes Vetium has been able to secure the purple. Jeff actually stealing all 3 of those, it looks like, and that's going to really hurt iceicebaby's farm potential when andinster is going to be rotating around the map.
Aquarius and Jeff will look for this blue buff invade and likely grab it. Meanwhile, Vetium on his last legs here. andinster, 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot. The 4th will do it. And Vetium goes down for first blood. Andy making himself well known on the left side for the 3rd time. And this time gets a double kill. He's been in this lane. He's been in the duo side of the map the entire beginning of every single game.
That's right. At 1 minute to try to defend BaRRaCCuDDa's purple buff, and this time getting so much success. The sprint was almost enough to get him away, but Ratatoskr's Acorn giving him a little bit extra mobility compared to many other junglers.
Benji and Ice trying to respond by finding JeffHindla. JeffHindla turns around, gets a nice 180 stun. Trying to get to safety as eUnited now, as they've expended a whole bunch of mana onto the opposition.
Benji without his blue buff really going to be hurting to stay relevant in the lane, and even more mana sustain for Aqua, getting himself the totem as a Bellona player. Normally don't have to face off against the Camazotz, as Camazotz is usually the counter forward towards an Arthur, as Bellona should be able to really start winning this matchup. A great start for Spacestation, not just on the left side, but Jeff's presence on the right.
Benji here on the Zotz versus the Bellona. Camazotz originally kind of regained popularity because of how well he did against the King Arthur. Now here he is against the Bellona, just players realizing that, well, good sustain is good no matter what in this solo lane, and as long as you can transition it into damage later on.
Vampire Batz, Devour Jump, giving him options in boxing out Aqua if he wants to, but when you're dealing with a 1v2, that double sustain is not going to be impactful. Losing the blue buff, and he's going to lose a lot of gold under his tower. Aqua, whether or not you cancel out his bludgeon, he's just going to AoE those archers down and force the wave under your tower. Camazotz doesn't have the best clear to start off compared to a Bellona.
Yeah, it's troublesome when Benji wants to get involved there, because he can get his AoE cleave kind of silenced out by way of the disarm and a whole bunch of other things, but certainly in a little bit can get up close and personal. Benji jumping over the slam there to avoid the damage. And that's likely what we'll see here in the solo side. Left side, though, another red buff invade coming out here from the Ratatoskr and support. And so JeffHindla will take the red buff this time around and giggle his way to the mid lane.
No time for anyone else at a Spacestation to pick that one up. andinster still with his own speed buff. Now Fafnir going to do a little bit more damage, despite only being level 4 with no real power items. Enough damage once he does transform into the dragon. Big man playing the Zhong, rushing out the Bancroft's talent to start. No real pressure on him, considering it was all on that dual lane / solo side.
So invades are worth a little bit less now. In fact, a lot of bit less in the early phases of the game. They're worth just a fraction of what they would used to be, and also what you would get on your side of the map. So we see the red buff and the purple buff invade come out from Ratatoskr, and that's really to strip the experience from the enemy jungler.
That's right.
But then returns to his side to look for his own purple and red, as opposed to further invades towards those back harpies.
I believe that it reverts back at 15 minutes is
Yes.
when that experience still doesn't matter.
And
but
it so it like kind of curves is the wrong word, but it what's the word?
it just mitigates.
There it is. It deteriorates
Diminishes.
it diminishes over time. That's the word we're looking for. And so as you get closer to 15, it will completely turn off. Yeah.
BaRRaCCuDDa still holding his own in a 1v2 with all these rotations from andinster in all 3 games. This is the game that he needed it the most in the elimination game for Spacestation Gaming.
Right now, he certainly has the lead 5-4 as far as the levels are concerned. Mid lane with another grouping of Spacestation with the 3-man, the Joust comp, the Mage, the Tank, the Assassin. It's all against BMT. Had a spicy set for himself. Great work on the Zeus so far, and now playing the Zhong. A similar character, but different in a lot of different ways. But the ultimate kind of feels the same. Andy blinking in to start engagement, and there's the ultimate coming out of him as Terra finds a dash, jumps down on Vetium, finds a spin, Jeff's controlled, turn to look at Collis, gets the stun and the kill. Great play from JeffHindla, and Iceice's gonna go down as well as BaRRaCCuDDa threads the needle, finds the gumball, finds the kill. 4 notches in Space Station Gaming's belt, and eUnited unable to answer.
A 2 for nothing. Both andinster and BaRRaCCuDDa part of every single kill thus far out of Space Station, and such important kills to be able to get the invades afterwards. BigManTingz really struggling to get that experience that he needs from his own red buff, but still ahead against Venenu's Janus, surprisingly.
And Andy still looking for these invades, successfully stripping the blue buff away from Bellona and the rest of eUnited. iceicebaby unlikely to catch up with Andy, but the rest of the squad is here as well, and andinster does not have the blink available for another minute. Collis won't find the stun, and so Andy will be safe and sound behind his own tier 2 tower. With eUnited here deep, they look for this blue and won't find it.
Really annoying for iceicebaby to see the Scourge last hit it through every single ability that he had in the book. Benji now still struggling to get anything going for himself. That was his that was his third totem of coup, actually, as Space Station Gaming would rather focus elsewhere on the left side of the map, and this kind of momentum is going to be problematic. With the difference of levels between the junglers, a level 5 Batz versus a level 7 Ratatoskr, almost finishing off the Assassin's Blessing stacks to gain extra penetration, working on the Void Shield for the penetration aura.
Really nice play there from iceicebaby to get himself out of trouble. A strong Janus ultimate, but not enough for what Space Station Gaming were looking for that time around, unfortunately, for those rooting for the black and gold. 7.5 in, and SSG have a nice 2,600 gold lead. Certainly worth talking about here in the early stages. But game number 1, SSG had a 2,000, 3,000 gold lead. So how do they hang on to it is the question, as Vetium dashes right into the clutches of Jeff, but he misses the ult or the stun. The Rat gonna look for the team fight as well.
He doesn't want to go into the tier 2 tower, but he'll go into iceicebaby instead, dashing away. The red buff now was secured by eUnited. Not going to be able to be picked up from Space Station Gaming's side. Finally, BigManTingz can go get that for himself, and it's so unfortunate that they couldn't lock down Vetium. He had no beads at the time, but he was able to receive that Terra's Blessing. Without that ultimate, I think iceicebaby maybe does make the decision to tower dive under the tier 2, but knowing that he'll be dealing less damage, knowing that Vetium will eventually receive a heal after the 4th stone was removed, makes him think otherwise.
So a disengage here. Tier 1 towers all still standing. Space Station Gaming looking to find somewhere to push their lead now. Up to a 3,200 gold lead. Just small invades, keeping the enemy jungler down so that iceicebaby can't really be involved. It's been a really good strategy for SSG so far. But once eUnited kind of finish their second item on their jungler, I think that's when iceicebaby might be able to make these plays despite the fact that he's been kept down. And that could be problematic for for Space Station going forward.
We've been talking about the difference between the two junglers, but even the technical kill on Vetium in the last skirmish is allowing BaRRaCCuDDa a huge lead, finishing off his demonic grip. 3-level advantage for Freya, and a Freya that gets faster and faster towards the late game, paired up with a Fafnir. These Gold Furies are going to start melting.
And the players will start melting as well if Freya kind of gets her way. So Space Station Gaming, again, I just give the game to Aquarius and BaRRa. They're level 10. They're significantly ahead of most players on the map. One more pick, look for a Gold Fury, find maybe a secondary after the fact. There's a lot of things that could go in Space Station's direction, but they've got to set up for it, and that's what they're doing right now.
And it's their force to use that through the Cosmos. JeffHindla actually going to go into this Dragon form through space and time. Going to give some avenues if they really want it. baiting out the Earth and Fury, but it's just going to be a clean disengage after the red buff steal.
That's exactly what SSG want to do. Now they'll engage after the Terra buff has gone down. Big ultimate coming out from BigManTingz. And on the left side, Vetium being dealt with as andinster takes him down. 3-0-2 for the jungler. Venenu finds his first kill of the game as well. Still, BigManTingz being chased and the basics are slowing him. And Andy finds lucky number 7 for Space Station Gaming. And they'll go pick up the Gold Fury, the first one of the game, and push their lead even more so in their favor.
Andinster 4-0-3, a part of every kill, and you might be asking yourself, why wasn't Andinster able to do this in game number 1? Well, the problem was eUnited banned away the Ratatoskr in games 3 and 4, so allowing it in game 5 after they banned away the Achilles instead, because Aqua was such a nuisance on that god that it opens the window for Annie with a huge jungle momentum.
Really tough there, and even with that momentum, you know, you're looking for what to convert that into. Andinster tries to convert that into an invade, and United are ready and waiting, so he'll have to walk away there.
Good juke from Andinster on the right side. If the Vampire Batz hit, it would have slowed down the little rat to maybe allow iceicebaby a kill.
Ooh.
Great blink, preventing the Eagles rally stun.
Just in time, too. Real clean their escape. I like it. Blink was fun. No iceicebaby kill for you, he says. Benji, Aquarius, battling it out here in the solo lane one more time. And again, a return to kind of normalcy. This red buff is respawning, and Space Station has been on it for most of the time, but I think this one will be up sooner than SSG can coalesce around the area.
That's right. That's why they've gotten about a 5,800 gold lead off of the red buff invades, off of these rotations on the left side of the map because of Andinster. iceicebaby trying to make a play onto the slippery Venenu as a portal will help him get into safety. But this is where eUnited can no longer really be offensive in this set. They have to wait out for the late game now.
That's kind of what we saw last game as well. Space Station got a lead, and eUnited just waited by the fire giant until somebody won. That's what SSG have to deny this time. They've got to get the lead, play it well, and then look to push down the enemy team while they still have a lead. Another beautiful stun coming out from JeffHindla to protect his carries.
Good juke from iceicebaby preventing the stun out of Andinster. Venenu is getting dangerously close towards the tier 1 tower, but I like it because he's playing Janus. He has the purification beats. He has 40% cooldown reduction, technically 50 if you factor in the Chronos Pendant passive. So you can poke him out all you want, but he's got the cooldowns to get out.
Certainly going to be moving and grooving.
This level lead between these hunters is escalating higher and higher. It was 7 versus 10. Now it's 9 versus 13 from BaRRa.
iceicebaby forced out. Another ultimate coming out from Vetium. Benji now finds himself surrounded. Aquarius and JeffHindla here to provide the damage, but the Bat seems to have too much sustain to make that happen.
Little trick from Venenu, taking his through space and time portal to drop a regular portal, kind of confusing out Benji, but no confusion in the mid lane.
Knockup is good, and the dash will take BigManTingz all the way down. And kill number 8 for Space Station Gaming. Another large lead, 7 thou-ow. And Space Station have to start making plans for the future. If they don't, totally, eUnited will do what they did last game and just casually walk away with it.
See, Zhong was picked to kind of counter the Ratatoskr, considering you recall the demons and you can't get knocked up, but if you don't recall those demons, Andinster will punish you every single moment. Going for a glass cannon build, Bancroft's talent, and the cooldown boots, now working on the Spear of Magus. This Zhong not able to survive, already 2 deaths this game.
Yeah, pretty rough here for BigManTingz. He's been the focus, but 2 deaths for everybody on eUnited. 2, 4, 6, 8. I guess we appreciate Benji.
Who do we annihilate?
Yeah, that's pretty much what SSG has been doing. They've been isolating players and finding picks, largely in places they want to go. You're at the red buff, we're going to force you down.
And it would be Benji not having the 2 deaths, right?
It would be.
You win as a team, you lose as a team, but not Benji. He's like, I ain't going down like those chumps. winning his team the last one with that 42-minute Phoenix Siege defense.
Well, he better. He lost him game number 2.
And game number 1.
Well, the whole squad wasn't
Oh, that's
here.
true.
The whole squad missed game 1. Benji a little bit late after the fact. So if there's ever a time to be standing up and overperforming, now would be it.
He has opportunities with Blink.
And to be fair to Benji completely, I mean, he's always been a stand-up player with the asterisk of, you know, when he feels fit. And so certainly into it right now.
Fury about to respawn the left side. Vetium going to get bullied away. Purification still available to him. He's not level 12 though, so he doesn't have access to that second relic slot. Neither does iceicebaby though.
Well, there's the blink, and it'll send the beads, the ultimate, out of Janus. Now iceicebaby turned and burned on. BaRRA just deletes him. A barrage of gumballs. And the tier 1 tower is the pressure. 15 minutes in, Spacestation Gaming finally exerting the pressure that they've gotten. They have a lead, they use it. Tier 1 tower crumbles. 16 minutes in, Spacestation Gaming, 9 kills and 8,000 gold in the lead. Look for the Oni Fury.
Every game after the last, Spacestation has found ways to improve their own individual style and gameplay. After the Tier 1 mid-tower, Spacestation confirmed themselves. The Oni Fury find a Callus that's out of position. Earth and Fury, though, might be enough to save the Terra.
Ratatoskr in the sky looking for the stragglers. Landing on Benji. Jumping forward is going to be JeffHindla, finding a stun as well. Benji mitigates a whole lot of damage and able to heal it up as well.
The Oni Fury are going to matter a lot if you're eUnited. These waves going to start flooding them down. Tier 1 was taken by Spacestation a minute ago, but they now have to go heal after these objectives, allowing eUnited to return the favor.
Just a trade out Tier 1 for Tier 1. The Oni Fury minions are here, and the mid lane ones will be taken care of nice and easily. Left side, they've got some waves to deal with. Right side, they've got a wave to deal with.
Benji just casually walking through. Spacestation's Tier 2 dual lane tower still has the ultimate bat out of hell in case he does get in serious jeopardy. No blink available to him. Finishing off that void shield, but the problem is eUnited is not engaging on their own terms. They have to play more reactive to see how Spacestation want to force the issue. Utilizing that void shield for the aura going to be less impactful than they're expecting.
The blink forward is going to put Monkey in a bad spot. The Fire Giant already started. 70% so far on the big guy. Kala's dashing forward, and he gets stunned out, hit by the unstable, and BaRRaCCuDDa confirms the kill. 50% on the Fire Giant now. Benji creeping forward, ultimate is good, and Spacestation stop TPS. Venenu goes through a portal to avoid the Batman. Now Spacestation still tanking it, but Aquarius is stunned out the front. iceicebaby comes out front and looks to steal, but can't and won't. Benji will fall down, and Spacestation is spread out looking for kills. Aquarius controlled and rolled. Iceice finally put this team on the board.
Through the Cosmos, forcing the beats from iceicebaby. Gonna prevent the slow on top of it. BaRRaCCuDDa gets himself an unofficial double kill onto Vetium, going into the Valkyrie's discretion, hoping he was going to hit iceicebaby in that matter, but an important ultimate from Benji, using that bat out of hell long enough to scare Spacestation. He's like, do we still go on this? There's kind of a bat. I'm not very comfortable anymore.
It was a strong play by eUnited. Spacestation Gaming again, they invest a lot, and eUnited just play defense well enough.
Can you imagine casting with a bat in this room? That's kind of how Spacestation had to handle doing the Fire Giant.
Well, I like
there.
bats. They're kind of cute.
You do not like bats that kind
I
of
do.
way.
They're super cute. They're like little doggies that
Okay,
fly.
next cast we're doing, there's going to be a live bat in this room.
Okay. I will name him Herman.
Is there a backstory behind this?
No. Spacestation Gaming need no backstory as they look for the Fire Giant one more time. Benji trying to creep on in there. 25% on the Fire Giant. Benji doesn't have the ultimate a second time. Yes, he does. Just came up. Still fighting over it. eUnited. They steal it. Back to the Belfry. Benji on top. And the fight's going to go their way as well. BigManTingz takes 2. 3 players sitting down. Spacestation Gaming could lose a 4th as Aquarius is here fighting. Fear, no evil, but fear. eUnited. Aquarius fighting back. Andy finds iceicebaby, but Vetium makes short work of the short laner. And Andy here, surrounded by eUnited jerseys, makes it to the sky and will be safe and sound. But 4 players with Fire Giant and ready to go. And Spacestation Gaming on their back foot. Previously with a 10,000 gold lead. Now, still leading by under 4K, but the wind in the sails of eUnited.
That is so demoralizing for Space Station Gaming. Doing an aggressive Fire Giant, which got stopped at 17 minutes, to do it again at 19 minutes, this time stolen away. You were mentioning how Benji has to come up big in this game, and guess what? He did. He stole it on the very last final swoop from Bat Out of Hell. And even if Space Station get that Fire Giant, they still lose that team fight. Aqua was not able to make that presence that he needed to. We're seeing so much AoE damage from BigManTingz. The ultimate from iceicebaby wasn't even a factor. That was used on the cleanup on top of Aqua.
Yeah, just what honestly, Totally, I mean, what I'm seeing from Space Station Gaming is hesitation. I'm really not seeing too much else to be critical of. It seems like Space Station are not, they're making decisions, and I think that is an improvement, but they're making them too slow, it seems like. What's your take?
I wouldn't call it hesitation. Well, I would have to kind of really break down this game and look at the replay multiple times to see where they went wrong. But honestly, it's not the hesitation, because they went for the Fire Giant twice, but it's the miscalculations of what they can do after the fact. They didn't respect eUnited's potential engage. They didn't respect Benji in the previous defense on the Robin. And
there's Andy on the offense on the Ratatoskr, landing up front, but the Fear No Evil going to chase him in the other direction. Andy going to die to the hand of Benji, who wraps around from the right-hand side and leaps forward. JeffHindla is toast, as Collis reminds him about it. BaRRaCCuDDa up, and
BaRRaCCuDDa down. BigManTingz with his second kill of the game, getting themselves a tier 1 tower. Only Aqua and Venenu alive to play defense. They want nothing to do with the dual lane side of the map. They're going to try to go for the tier 2 tower, but I don't think they have that timing window unless they want to concede the Phoenix.
Tier 2 will go down for eUnited. Space Station Gaming, on the other hand, won't be able to get the same thing. Left side Phoenix is the target. Collis leading the charge. iceicebaby dealing damage as well. Aquarius and Venenu here, and nobody really cares. eUnited just ignoring the 2 members of Space Station Gaming as they take the left side Phoenix and they walk away.
And like you were asking me before, there was no hesitation for Space Station Gaming to make that aggressive play on the left side of the map there. But they're just miscalculating the return fire. BigManTingz on the Zhong, who he doesn't have the highest player damage, but with the Gem of Isolation, Space Station can't really get out of it. Looking at the relic selection from Space Station, JeffHindla, no sprint. How are they going to get away from the Zhong? JeffHindla opting for the Sunder second relic slot.
It's rough. It certainly is. The Gem of Isolation on Zhong just makes him so annoying. He just waddles down the lane with all these ghosts that are slowing you, and the rest of his team is killing you if he's already not.
Yeah.
Because this is a high power build from the JeffHindla right here.
So to Jeff's credit, thinking about their composition a little more, they do have the portals and threshold to utilize as a semi-sprint. But to kind of get away from Big Man's ultimate, you're going to need more options than just the Janus kit.
Exactly. Aggro is afraid of that in picks and bans. I find myself afraid of that here in the game. You look at the player damage, and Janus just not really doing what he's supposed to in comparison to the other mage. Only about half of what Zhong has been able to deliver. Been an uphill battle for Space Station Gaming's mage, for sure. Gold lead going the way of eUnited now. It's almost irrelevant. But Space Station Gaming still have a number of items to purchase.
Andinster trying to kind of run away. iceicebaby not going to allow that to happen. Having to avoid Venenu's unstable vortex. Benji just kind of doing Benji solo lane things, zoning away Aqua and the rest of Space Station above the Fire Giant. Last time it was the black and yellow side that got this objective. I don't expect that to be a reoccurrence.
We'll see. Space Station looking for it. Out Here comes Aquarius trying to zone. Venenu jumps to the back line. Double stun thanks to the Bellona, and Benji immediately goes to the sky. Kalos combines with the Batman to take care of Aquarius. JeffHindla surrounded. He'll jump over the wall, but now it's andinster that's surrounded. That said, SSG finds some damage. Venenu finds a target for his Janus stuff, and Benji in trouble as well. iceicebaby gonna turn that trouble upside down. Venenu could be after BaRRA, and he will be. The doubleune for the jungle monkey, and Andy will go down to BigManTingz with the spicy boy plays. And eUnited are unhealthy, but they're looking for the right side Phoenix nonetheless.
That portal just faded right at BaRRa's feet, and he had nowhere to go. The problem for Spacestation was that they just had to use that ultimate so quickly.
They're going.
And that's it. The Titan is already at 75% health. eUnited are coming back.
They've got the minions, and here comes eUnited low on the HP, but it do not matter. They come in just in time. 2 games go down to some questionable performances, but ultimately 3 games to 2. The set goes to eUnited.
Spacestation still strong in the early to mid game, but they just have some questionable decision makings in the later portion. That Fire Giant call was very aggressive. They didn't respect the potential steal from Bat Out of Hell, and I don't blame them. It's not that much damage, but the miscalculation of the return fire. All eUnited members were in position to capitalize and punish Spacestation for making an overzealous call.
iceicebaby with the return of the land shorts. The green shorts. It's one of his superstitions. He always wears these green shorts when he comes to land, and they earn him and his team a victory. eUnited now self-congratulating as they say good game to Spacestation Gaming.
A very interesting set, specifically Game 4. That long 45, 46-minute game where it looked like Spacestation Gaming had it. They had it in a bag when they were sealing the siege on the right side Phoenix, but they didn't respect Benji's Robin in that game, and they didn't respect Benji's Camazotz on the Fire Giant call either.
Troublesome stuff there for the boys on Spacestation Gaming. Something has got to give. This was a set that SSG was kind of hand-delivered, and unfortunately they drop it totally. Something's got to change.
It's got to be a unified decision call that's respected in every stage of the game. At least they're going for it together, right?
Yeah.
Like, you win as a team, you lose as a team, but these calls need to be more well thought out. The calculation needs to be more decisive because, yeah, they're being aggressive, but they're losing these aggressive fights.
eUnited on top, 3-2. Let's break it down on the desk.
And that is a tough loss that Spacestation now must contend with, and a big win for eUnited. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. They come in and they find this 3-0, and they do it in pretty convincing fashion, I would say, though Spacestation give it up a couple times.
Yeah, I don't think eUnited should feel particularly good about this win. Spacestation should just feel like this is the worst loss ever. And frankly, this ranks up there with the worst SPL losses ever. I mean, it's a loss for words. Something has to change on the Spacestation Gaming team. This team cannot stay as constructed in the way that they're playing the game right now and expect to make any land this year. It's clear as day, Finch. I mean, this is a team that had a 2-0 lead in this set and a 10K lead twice and lost them both. Something has got to change for this team. They can't win as they're constructed right now. That's been proven to me now.
I think so too. And I don't know, man. I'd take first half Spacestation over a lot of teams, actually.
Sure.
I think I'd take early game Spacestation over a lot of those teams out there, but they can't close up together. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how we not talk about that Fire Giant, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's just pretty plain and simple that that's a mistake from them, because literally the fight right before that, moments ago,
They did it perfectly.
They not only perfectly, the exact same scenario perfectly,
Yeah.
where Bat Out of Hell was the only contest on the objective, and they played around it perfectly. They disengaged. In fight number 2, for some reason, they just didn't respect it again. Maybe it's the through space and time that they expect to be able to confirm the objective, and it's just not enough damage.
Ven gets knocked up, and he was trying to cast his 2 during that time. Because he barrel stuffs the Fire Giant.
He walks forward into it.
There's just no reason to do that. You can back up and do the exact same thing from there. But let's say they get this fire, Finch. What's the point? Ven's dying for it. BaRRa's on top of the Fire Giant. They're all in melee range of it. They lose this fight regardless if they get Fire Giant or not. Look, results-based thinking is something I preach against a lot.
Yes.
Spacestation did a lot of things very, very well this set. They played very well in the early game,
Especially
basically
Andy.
every single game. Andy had a lights-out set.
Yes.
I think Ven played very well outside of that last game, and even during parts of that last game, I think he played very well. normally I'm very, very strong against results-based thinking, that you shouldn't always look at just the win or the loss. But at some point, the standings aren't looking at how well you played. All the standings care about in your prize money and all this kind of stuff, all they care about is if you're winning or losing.
Yes.
So you can't take these moral victories forever.
No.
It just isn't good enough. And I know it's only a couple weeks in. I know we're still a couple weeks out of midseason invitational, but I don't think these guys are showing up and playing just because it's having fun. They want to win, and
Yes.
they are not. This Spacestation team is not going to win as currently constructed. They just won't.
I don't think so either, because it's been consistently missing from them, and and we talk all the time about how at least we know what they can improve on. I don't know if that's all the way true, because it seems like every single time they're finding a new way to lose in the late game. We know the time period, I guess, where
Sure.
things fall apart, but it's something different every time. It's why are we taking that fight, or how come we're not timing the securing the objective correctly? It's in the same spot, but it's different things every time.
Exactly. So I want to clarify. I'm not saying that there needs to be a roster change, though. I
Sure.
think that's something that they have to look at everything. There shouldn't be anything that's off the table right now.
Right.
I think that first and foremost, someone else needs to be taking over shot calling responsibilities, because whoever is doing the late game objective calling and fight idea and that kind of stuff is just not doing a good enough job.
Yeah.
And whether that's one person or the unit that needs to be better at that, I mean, Finch, these are veteran players.
Yes.
That have been playing since before season
long
1.
time.
It baffles me that they still can't play the late game as well as they should. It blows my mind.
It absolutely does, and like you said, I really don't know that there's an excuse for it, to be fair. So it's just something I got to improve on. That's really all that it is. It's a real tough loss for this one, but we do have the winners, though. Remember, someone did come in and absolutely play these games and close them out. Whatever happens, all you can do is play what's in front of you, and that's eUnited, I think, did in a set, and they did that very well. We've got Collis and Vetium, the two that did actually help close this game out, standing by for an interview.
We're standing here with the boys from eUnited. It's Collis and it's Vetium, of course. First of all, congratulations on the win on the set.
Thank you.
Now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. All 3 games that you guys played and won, it was a team fight composition. Is that where you feel that your strengths lie? And is that kind of what the identity of the team is?
Yeah, I think so far we've had most success with team fighting strategies and stuff. And I definitely feel comfortable team fighting. I mean, Old Rival did the same thing, so I definitely feel comfortable doing it.
I mean, additionally, Enhanced Fire Giant is so much harder than normal Fire Giant to do, so you can afford to lose early game because you know that's an easy way to come back.
So Benji loses you guys game number 2, but he wins you guys games 4 and 5. Is he forgiven?
Very, very much so. I mean, well, actually, it's kind of a big deal, but we'll get to that later. I'm really thankful he's my solo because he straight carried all the games we played.
Yeah, you guys certainly look good once you got here, and I guess we will touch on that. Obviously, you guys are a little bit late. I heard you kind of give some good words in the pregame interview. What can you say, Collis, about moving on and being a little bit more professional?
Yeah, next time, no waking up at 12:30, properly checking emails and stuff, and just not wake up at 12:30.
At least you can always bring home the win. I think that's exactly what you kind of need to do in this scenario. So, kind of bucked up and got the game done. Connor, as far as your position is concerned, we talk a lot about the team fights and everything. How does the carry kind of fit into that, which is usually a different kind of thought process?
My job, for the most part, is to be as even or as not behind as possible for the entire game, because if we're trying to play towards late game, then I just want my team to be doing well, and then I'll do damage no matter what late game.
Did you guys ever have any doubt in your mind in this set, especially at the beginning of Game 5 when andinster is like popping off? How does that impact you guys mentally for this set?
Yeah, we went into the game saying that he's gonna do it, so we wanted to ward up to see it early, and then we just kind of didn't do it because we couldn't get there, and we knew it's gonna happen, yet we went and did it anyway. Died. It was kind of. It was still fine. I still felt like we can easily come back. But yeah, it's definitely like pressure is on when Rat starts with 2-0 and it's the last game.
Yeah, for sure. And, before I let you go, I'm going to ask you to do my job real quick. What's your take on SSG? I mean, were you able to win here? How big of an issue was it for you? And do you think they've got a future?
I personally think that team, on their best days, can for sure be one of the best teams. They just need to get there. I think them having a solid coach like Alpha Jackal will help them, same way Dimmy did last year. So there's a lot more to see from them for sure. They're just in a rough patch.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. Congratulations on the win, and buy an alarm clock. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
And there's eUnited, the ones that come out on top. Really 3-0 is, I guess, is how you think about it with the way that they played in that set. And it was into adversity time and time again, right? Down 2 games, down 10K gold in game, andinster fed, and they bounced back every single time. So really, I don't know any other way than to give them credit for that win, man. They came in and played.
Exactly. Look, they definitely messed up. They owned up to it, and you have to just come in and play what you can play. And they played 3 games and won 3 games in a row. Again, Spacestation probably should have won multiple of those, but they didn't, so eUnited did.
And the eUnited are the ones coming away with the victory and continue undefeated. Really, I thought that whole streak was in jeopardy with the way they started the day, but no, this team is still undefeated and still one that you absolutely have to take seriously. Let's take a look at those standings where everyone's shaping up. Way up at the tip top is Dignitas 5-0, but right beneath them, holding on to their trails is eUnited. Rival's been very impressive as well. They're right behind them. Unfortunately, though, Trifecta, LG haven't really been able to get anything going just yet. Even Splice, despite looking good, hasn't been able to find a win.
But you expect Splice to be able to bounce back pretty soon, and Renegade's going to be starting playing soon, hopefully. So Spacestation, they're in the 6th place right now. Remember, that's the cutoff for mid-season invitational, is that 6th place slot. So they've already got 5 sets played. They're ahead of most of the other teams. They're going to need some help if they want to hold on to number 6.
It's going to be very difficult for them, and you're right. I don't expect Renegades to come in slowly when they start playing either. Those guys, from what I've been hearing, are hungry to be able to come in and be able to prove themselves and grab some wins. So it's not going to be easy to hold on to that 6th slot.
And Splice is not staying at Owen.
No, they're absolutely not.
They're not staying.
Well, they played the 2 other best teams, right? Is who they played. So their record, their path does get only easier, I would say, for them going
Agreed.
forward. Yes.
Agreed.
It's been difficult, though, for those teams up until now, though. I do want to remind you guys, though, that there's plenty to enjoy, even for those that are at home. Even if you're just watching the SPL, make sure you're playing plenty of SMITE at home, too. We got 2 brand new gods that just came in, Horus and Set. Hopefully, you've been getting some reps in with them.
They've been sweet, man.
Can I say something? Set is dummy hard.
He's so hard,
He's
isn't
so
he?
tough.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to place one clone here, and then shoot him that way, teleport to my clone, and then... What happened? Where'd they go?
I'm playing an assassin who can teleport behind you at will, and I still can't do it. It's tough. It's going to take some time, I think, for all of us to get used to playing this god.
He's
so
cool.
excited for when him and Horus and that ultimate application all get brought in. So
I've seen the clips on Reddit and that kind of stuff of Horus, drop shipping into the Titan.
Here's one I think, though. Xbalanque ult right when you're about to teleport in,
they've
paired
got no
with
idea.
Horus ult. Yeah, that's a good combo we could be seeing.
Are you telling me that Xbalanque ult's good in every feasible
That's a good point.
position?
Just add Xbalanque ult to just about anything, and it's good. Yes, exactly.
Shocker.
That's right. That's not the only thing, though. Look forward to High Res Expo. That's going to be coming towards the end of the year in November. You can grab those tickets already at highresexpo.com. That's where you get to come meet us, come meet your favorite players, coaches. Everybody's going to be there. I'm going to have crisp handshakes. Aggro is going to hand everyone that walks in a $1 bill from his own personal bank account. So you don't want to miss any of that.
I will not be doing that. Yeah, you're not getting $1 from me, but I will give you a crisper handshake.
What?
Than Finch.
No way.
That's worth more than $1.
Mine are absolutely the crispest.
Maybe I'm gonna crisp handshake, high five on top. That's worth at least $2. That's even
pretty
better
good,
value.
actually. Yeah, that's twice what you're going to be getting from me as well. So that's going to do it for us here today, at least for the SPL. I believe we're saying no minor league is what it is next week. Is that right? Or we're not going to be able to have
it's SPL bye week.
Or
next
SPL
week.
bye week.
Right.
No SPL on Thursday and Friday.
Still Monday, Tuesday. We got an Esports Weekly on Wednesday as well. So it's still plenty of good stuff. Just SPL bye week next week.
SPL bye week. So still console Monday, SML Tuesday, Esports Weekly Wednesday that this guy's on for way too long, but you should enjoy the show anyway. I'm on there plenty. And then, of course, no SPL that time, so no one could be late for it if they're not actually happening. Either way, hope you guys enjoy watching what SMITECon we do have for you. Thanks for watching the SPL. Have a good rest of your day.
The SMITE Pro League brought to you by Titan Forge, High Res Studios, INAP, Respawn, Steel Series, Alienware, Skillshot.